Hello and welcome to Bootstrap Biz Advice, where I teach service providers how to work less and live more by leveraging tech and YouTube. If this is your first time here, my name is LaShonda Brown. I am a tech educator, a YouTube coach, and a speaker based in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. In today's live stream, sponsored by HoneyBook, I am going to share my dear friend Diana to talk you through the process of building your own system. But before I introduce you to her, I want to share a bit more about the incredible tool that we used. So thank you so much to HoneyBook for sponsoring this episode. Diana and I actually met through the HoneyBook Accelerator program back in the literal day called Upward, but we took our friendship to the next level when I literally hopped on an Amtrak to spend a day with her in DC on a whim. Since then, she has helped me support Natalie Frank as a launch team member for Built to Belong, and recently she helped me finally bite the bullet and stop bootstrapping my coaching system so that I could scale YouTube coaching. Diana is a systems architect. She is a HoneyBook Pro, and she is the founder of the Finer Points. By equipping small business owners with clarity, she helps transform everyday tasks into an effective, done-for-you business system on autopilot. Helping business owners convert 79% of their leads into sales, Diana believes that empowering the creator economy can help people to pursue their passion and change the world for the better at the same time. I am so grateful I had the opportunity to work with her on this project. And without further ado, let's welcome up Diana. Hi, Diana.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the live stream. So I already see we have some comments. So I want to acknowledge all of the people who are joining live. Guys, I really want you to ask Diana questions because she is a wealth of knowledge. So I see a comment here from Caitlin. She says that she loves creating and implementing systems. So she's excited for this one. Christy says she's been looking forward to this. No worries. You can definitely catch the replay as soon as we end it. It will be ready for you on both LinkedIn and on YouTube. I see Darlene is here. Another comment from Caitlin. So this is really going to be an awesome opportunity to not only educate you guys about HoneyBook, but take you behind the scenes in my business real time and walk you through some of the things that I changed so that I could scale. So before I get into the questions, I want to make sure as a bootstrapper, you guys know how to save some shmoney. So let's start there. So Diana has a link and I want you guys to hit that up. Diana, can you talk them through what they're going to get?
You get 50% off your first year at HoneyBook. Don't sleep on this. This is only good until the end of October. It's something special. Not everyone gets it on the internet. So this is literally the highest discount you're going to find on the internet.
And then trust me, I've looked. She's not lying. This is the best deal you're going to get.
It's true. So do that. You get a 7-day free trial. So even if you're curious, just click the link. Do it.
Just get on that. So I told her, I said, Diana, you have just been such a blessing to me. We are going to rep your links so you guys know you click on my links and now it's time to click on hers. So if you want to give HoneyBook a try, that's how you're going to do it. We'll pop that out throughout the broadcast. And of course, we're going to be talking about YouTube coaching. If you would like to be coached by me, then you guys can go to lashondabrown.com/coaching and we'll share some more about that throughout the broadcast. So very first question, Diana. When I started selling packages online, your girl bootstrapped it. I'm just gonna be honest, I wanted to see what I needed, see what I needed to clarify. But now I'm transitioning to using a CRM to help automate some of my workflows. So, my first question for you is, when do you think it is a good time for business owners to start thinking about building a system?
Well, a system, honestly, by definition, it's a network of things that come together and interwork together, right? So when you think of it that way, you should be thinking of your system from day one. And that's not everyone's natural tendency. Okay, everyone's natural tendency is to say, "Oh my gosh, I want to one day I want a business where there are just like hot tubs everywhere and people can rent them for like an hour, like I actually want that. Can someone make that, please?" And then, that's your vision. You want people to feel relaxed. You want people to go do your thing. But then no one really wants to think about how. And I think that's our first instinct, is to either bootstrap it or to delegate it. But really what you want to start thinking is how all those pieces connect. When you get someone, what happens next? What's the experience you want them to have? Think long. And that's so hard when you first start a business, because I remember when I first started my business, I was like buying my domain name and I'm like, is there a thing to like buy it for like 3 months? Can I just buy my website domain for 3 months? I just want to, I don't even know if this is going to take off. And so I think day one is when you definitely want to start thinking about it. And it's not too late. It's even if you're in year 10 of your business and you're like, well, I missed that train. There's no such thing as missing the train. Your business is going to shift. Your system will shift and grow as you scale. And so there's not really ever a time. LaShonda, what you did in bootstrapping, you still had a system. You knew from app to app to app what the process was, what your clients were going to experience. You were very clear to me in saying, first they fill out this form, then they do this, then they go here, and then I do that. And so like in some ways you had a system. Could it be easier? Yes. Can you leverage less tools to help you find everything in one place? 100%. But definitely start thinking about your system early on.
So I will tell you guys, one thing that we don't talk about very often when it comes to technology is there is that I wrote in my email this morning, that building the plane and flying it at the same time. And there is this understanding that, in some cases, you're going to have to slowly phase out of one system while you move into another. And I really just want to just remove some of the stigma, because I think in business, we have this idea that there's going to be these clean transitions, like I'm doing this right now, and then tomorrow, brand new business, brand new website, brand new everything. And it's going to get messy before it gets better. Okay. I'm just going to be real with you. But I think when you learn to embrace that strategic messiness for the ultimate payoff of, wow, now that is automated. Wow, now I don't have to write that email from scratch, or I'm not searching for this link and that link. It's so much better in the long run. And so what Diana was saying is, when I say bootstrapped, I don't mean like your girl was just texting folks and using Venmo. Like we're not doing that shenanigans. But what I was doing was using a lot of different tools, right? And a lot of different tools that I was leveraging to get the job done. And so in that moment, it was easier for me to just, leverage a bunch of tools that I was accustomed to. And also, I wanted to do an entire cohort and figure out like what was the program actually going to be. I'm the type of person that I like to iterate and I like to refine things. And so as I was coaching, my Q3 cohort, I said, hey guys, like, What do you think about adding virtual co-working hours? Hey guys, what do you think about ending our time together with a celebratory live stream? Like, how do you feel about it? And so, because things were very fluid, I was figuring out the workflow. But once I got through Q3, then I was like, okay, now I can communicate to someone like Diana what I need, when things need to go out, how much time we're in between sessions, and things like that. And so I think there is a journey that we walk through as business owners where sometimes you got to do the thing in order to refine the thing. And so I would encourage you to not shy away from that, because some of the people you're looking up to, that's how we're getting it done. So give yourself some grace, because that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, and I just want to say that as you're thinking about scaling, because this is like what this whole broadcast is about, as you think about scaling, LaShonda going through this process was really actually important, because when she starts to scale, when she hires a team, and when she starts to have more and more cohorts, she is now very clear about where things are, instead of saying like, okay, for example, someone comes in, the way that LaShonda was bootstrapping, as we talked about before, she had multiple apps for multiple things. So just try to explain that, what's in your brain as business owners. Sometimes we are just really good at doing it better ourselves. And to now have to explain it to someone else, I know so many of you actually hold off on scaling because it means that you have to explain to someone else what you do. And that is too much. Like you don't have the time to sit down and write it all down. And that is the hardest part. And so really, being able to put everything into a software like HoneyBook, we eliminated actually quite a few softwares that LaShonda was using before. And now, if she chooses to hire team members, she's very clear on where everything is. And so when you're trying to teach someone else on your team, and so things don't just live in your brain, then this is a great way to also allow you to scale. And you're very clear on like where you need the help, instead of just saying, I could use help. I think that's something I used to say a lot too, was just saying, I need some help. I need some help. Okay, well, what do you need help with? I don't know. And our first thought is always like, I need help with social media. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's your weak spot. But actually, if you sat down and go through like a client journey process and figure out step by step, what is the experience you want to give your clients, and figure out the gaps and the holes in the exact system of what happens first and what happens next, you are now able to farm out specific details of where you need help and find the best person to fit that role, instead of just saying, I will take anyone who has hours in their day, right? We want to set you up for success in this way. So,
yeah, I've got a really good question for you about people getting started, because I can't tell you how many apps I have created free trials with, and a day or two in, I'm like, this ain't gonna work out. So to set people up for success, what is the biggest mistake that new HoneyBook users make when creating their account? So you've seen it all, I know you have. So what do people tend to make as a mistake?
okay, this is kind of like what I was saying before about like, we aren't clear about our journey and what we want. And so I think it's really easy to come on a broadcast like this and hear about the amazing things that HoneyBook can do and all the apps that HoneyBook could replace. And then you sign up for a free trial, you get on there, and then you're like, cool, what are you going to do for me? Right. And I think we come in with expectations of like, oh, it can automate for me. It can design for me. It can be a splash page for me. I can sell my freebies on there. I could do all kinds of stuff on here. And then you get in there and you're just like, where do I start? And I think the mistake we all make is we look at a software for all across the board. We say, what can you do for me? And really, it should be flipped. We need to look at software and technology and social media and say, this is my business. This is my business. So I need you, software, HoneyBook, Instagram, to do X, okay? And then approach it that way and say, I need an automated welcome email to come as soon as someone fills out my contact form so that I don't have to run to a computer as soon as I get a new inquiry, and I can be with my kids, and I can go to school pickups, and I can go to grocery shopping in peace because I know that my client is being taken care of. The data that HubSpot gave out this year that clients are expecting a response within 10 minutes is a very difficult statistic to meet if you're a human. And that's where you need to leverage technology. But you can't come in and look at HoneyBook and say, you can do all these things. I want all of it. Don't let the app dictate what your business needs. You tell it what you need. And then with that clarity, you can then say, great, I need a welcome email. I'm going to go to templates. I'm going to create a new welcome email. And then I'm going to tell the computer to send it during this time. But if you were to say, what can you do for me, HoneyBook? And you're just kind of perusing around and you're like, oh, I could do this and I could do that. You don't know where to start, and the overwhelm really sets in. And so take it one step at a time, look at each of your services and identify what happens after they pay the deposit. What needs to come out? Do you need to send a questionnaire? Great. Create a questionnaire in HoneyBook, create the email that you want them to ask them to fill out the questionnaire, and automate. Instead of saying, okay, great, I want to do it all. I want to make a brochure. I want you to pay me. I want you to do it. It's so overwhelming. And I totally understand where you're all coming from.
And I will say a really fun discovery during this process was realizing that I could actually leverage Canva's whiteboards to help me map that stuff out. So for those of you who are visual people, and you've never actually audited what you do for a living, so you don't have it mapped out, like when I do this, then this happens, and then this happens. That is an excellent use of the Canva whiteboard feature because you can click, you can drag. And so I was able to kind of think through, like, for my YouTube coaching process, not thinking about the tool, but really thinking about the steps. What are the steps that I need to go through from someone inquiring about coaching to actually, having me review their application, getting that invoice sent out, getting a payment in, and all those different things. And so I was able to map that out visually in Canva and then just share that with Diana. And so all of a sudden, the thing that was stressing me out because it was all in my head was now in a visual form that we could comment on and collaborate. And so I think when I talk about, leveraging tech, that's what I mean. I think sometimes we get so intimidated by technology that we choose not to use it because it's something that, is outside of our wheelhouse. But there are so many tools out there that make communication easier with other folks. And so along those lines, I know you guys have heard of DIY, right? Do it yourself. You even heard of done for you, like paying someone to just take it from me and just do it. But I really did it with Diana. And so that middle ground of it wasn't DIY, trust and believe. Your girl was not click-clacking, but it also wasn't just hand my business off to Diana and hope for the best. We really collaborated. So Diana, I want to talk more about that middle ground of done with a HoneyBook Pro. What is the benefit of someone actually doing it in that way?
Oh, okay, you're gonna have to stop me when it's too much. But honestly, being a small business owner is really isolating, and all of these ideas live in our heads. Think of me as like a long-term coffee friend, like we are here, we're going to talk about your business and we're going to dissect it like it's never been dissected before. And that can sound really scary to a lot of you, but also it can be really refreshing because the brainstorm process happens and the ability to see what is possible is really nice with another person who gets your business. HoneyBook Pro, for me, when I work with my clients, I spend a lot of time understanding their business so that you can, we're setting it up exactly the way that you need it to be set up. And so, LaShonda, you and we spent a lot of time too, like you used a form from a different app at first to kind of fill out the application. And I think had you done it, you would have just converted it over, or maybe you would have stayed and then just entered people into HoneyBook manually as when they get into like a payment process. A lot of people think HoneyBook's just great for contracts and invoices, which they are, but there's so many other features. And I think working with the HoneyBook Pro, I was able to kind of design a lot of things and show you options of what you could do. And so if you were to navigate it on your own, it's very doable. It's a very intuitive system, but also I think sometimes you kind of overthink and second guess a lot with yourself. Whereas I think a lot of times too, I was able to show you what HoneyBook could do. We're thinking of hacks. We're not just thinking of like HoneyBook says it can do the X, this is a system that I use multiple times a day, every hour on the hour. I'm in a lot of client accounts. And so I get to see a lot of different businesses too. And so just talking it out with me is valuable. Being able to have options and to know the hacks and the workarounds, that's another great tool to have with the HoneyBook Pro. Also, it's just easier. Save yourself the time. We're in this system all day long. And sure, there are help articles and there are all those things. There's nothing against that at all. But I think just being with the HoneyBook Pro, we were able to talk about, okay, 5 years from now, where do you want this to go? How can I help you build towards that, right? A lot of times we kind of get in the system too, and we're just like, okay, this is what I need today. And we're talking about scaling. So how can I now push you to think through, great, 5 years from now, you just need to change out this link, duplicate this email, and you're ready to go. I'm helping you think through that in the long run, if that is your goal. But I would also just say, you're probably needing to look at your system every 6 months, just FYI, because your business should be growing and scaling every 6 months. So.
And I think what we really underestimate in business is the value of just having someone look at our business from the outside. There's this thing that people say for people who have a storefront business that very rarely do you walk through the front door of your business. You always come through the back. And so that perspective of what does it look like from the outside looking in is something that you're not going to get if you're not collaborating with someone else. But just to clarify, because I get this a lot when it comes to my partnerships with companies like Canva and Flowdesk, we are independent business owners. We have our own things. However, we are super users of tech tools, and thus we have partnerships with them. So just like I'm a Canva verified expert without being a Canva employee, or Flowdesk instructor without working for Flowdesk, Diana is a free bird. You can freely reach out, but she is not HoneyBook tech support, although they all know who she is. She is her own business owner and doing her own thing. So I just want to clarify, when you see people with these titles associated with tech tools, what you're really getting is someone who is a super user of the tool. They are in that tech tool sometimes more than some of the folks working for it, just because we're the ones using it all the time. And so what you get is those really creative uses of the tool that maybe they didn't even know people would want to utilize. So I definitely think I benefited from that. And a question that I get a lot when it comes to the world of AI, in a way, I almost wish we would stop using the term, because the amount of fear and stress it induces in small business owners is so unnecessary. But when we talk about automation, a lot of people start thinking, well, I'm going to lose that personal touch, right? And so I want to ask you, Diana, what are some creative ways that people are balancing the automated stuff and the personal touch with their systems in HoneyBook? What are you seeing right now?
Okay. Listen, I have a lot of feelings about this. No one doesn't work with you because you had an automated email. Literally no one. Think it through Amazon, when you go on Amazon and you buy something and then they tell you that your package is on the way. That's an automated email. Are you like, well, Amazon, you are so informational. I'm never going to use you again. That was a robot and not a human that told me that my package is on the way. That's not something that we do. And I think that there's a fear that's coming from somewhere I haven't quite figured out yet. But there is a fear that if we use a robot to write our emails, then all of a sudden we're going to lose the client. But that's not it at all. The statistic I gave earlier is that 80 some odd percent of, I can't remember the exact number, from HubSpot is saying that 84% of clients want an answer within 10 minutes. 10 minutes. As a human, that's not achievable. The expectation is they want to know what's next. In this day and age, in 2023, what we want now is I have probably stalked you on the Instagrams. I've stalked you on Google and LinkedIn and YouTube. I've looked you up. I've narrowed you down to probably 2 or 3 businesses that I want to work with. And I'm going to reach out and say, who reaches out to me first? Because that's who I'm going to go with. I'm ready to make the sale. I'm curious about your pricing and your process and if you have room for me, right? So really what we're saying here is that the concern is about timing, not about whether or not the email was physically typed by me on my phone in that moment, okay? You need to let it help you. The tone of your email, you're the one writing it. It's still your voice. It's still your brand voice. It's still you and your small business. Just because you leveraged a welcome email doesn't mean that all of a sudden a robot is running your business. You still have to fulfill the orders. You're still the one taking the discovery call, the clarity call, whichever you call it. You're still the one that's going to work on their service. But there are things that you can do, moving them to the next step. Your client just wants to know what's next. They are ready to hand you their dollars. Make it easy for them. I think that a lot of the, for example, personal touches. I have one client, she addresses everyone differently. So she always automates her emails with a yo, and that's how she talks. And so that's what she writes in her emails. I think that that's totally fine. Other people love GIFs, put the GIFs in the email. Other people are very straightforward, clear, 2 sentences. And when you jump on a call with them, that's who they are. They don't have a lot to say. They just want to deliver something amazing to you. This isn't just because you're asking for an email to kind of push the next step and push your business forward and help you scale. That doesn't mean that it takes away your personality and who you are, because trust me, we all know that as an independent small business owner, we are the ones in the background still working and sweating on it. Okay, there's no robot here. And I think it's okay to leverage technology to kind of help you do things a little easier. Asking and hiring for a VA to write your emails in real time, there are better ways. There are better ways, right? So.
And I think that's the thing, is that when you leverage a tech tool to do something that you're constantly needing to do in your business, that frees you up to give a more human touch to the other areas of your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we've got to think about tech as, okay, I am outsourcing these mundane tasks to the tech so that I can more joyfully show up for the things that only I can do, right? Only I can coach you on YouTube. You don't want no robot telling you what to post. You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, in order to free my time up for that, let's offload some of those other things. Caitlin brought up a really good point. She talked about how she gets a lot of her client details through a form so people can book a call while she's sleeping. And that's what you got to be thinking about when you think about scaling, is that if you have a global business where you are open to working with people all around the world, people will be on your website while you are asleep, because they're in a completely different time zone. And so if we are doing everything manually, instead of it being that 10-minute response, it could be a 10-hour response, which could mean losing out on a sale with someone who really did genuinely want to work with you. And so, for me personally, using so much tech in my business and wanting to find, okay, what's the best fit for me? Sometimes you've got to think about, I don't want to miss out on serving people well because I was too slow to respond, So that's just something we really need to be considering when we think about whether or not we're ready for a system.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, like the beauty of what Caitlin did is that she was able to also respond to her client while they're still in front of the laptop, right? So sometimes we put in, like, and we've all been there, right? I'm like, oh, I'm really interested in working with someone. And so then it's like, okay, I'm going to put in an inquiry and I'm going to see what they say. And they are like, well, I'm at my kid's recital show right now, so I'm not going to answer you. And they're going to answer when they're at working hours, which you can dictate. It's your business, right? But at 11 o'clock at night. And so now I'm sleeping. So 11 o'clock at night, the business owner responds to me and I'm sleeping. So then I'm going to respond when I get up and I'm in front of the computer. And now we are looking at 36 hours. And then who knows what the business owners do. You see the domino effect of like, have you ever tried to like email back and forth asking for a time to like meet? It's like, are you free tomorrow at 4? No, I gotta go do that and X, Y, and Z. And then it's like, okay, what about Thursday at 6? No, da, 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 da. What about 2 weeks from now? Eliminate all those hours, eliminate all those times. That's less emails in your inbox. Looking at like, even it's good for your mental health. I promise you, just looking at the number of emails that you have in your inbox to respond to, that is a trigger for a lot of you. And so if you can minimize and try to anticipate a lot of the questions that come your way, if you answer them preemptively, they're not going to email you. They're going to say, great, this is my marching order. I'm going to go do that because I hired you to do X. So I'm going to do Y, you know? So it's just trying to catch someone when they're sitting in front of the laptop so that they can immediately move on and you can capture the payment.
And again, I think it can be stressful to think about creating something like this if this is not something that you currently have. You know, I say it all the time in my intros, like I live in the mountains. I'm a mountain girl. I love me a good creek. I love me a good crock pot moment. Like I am typically not pressed, trying not to be stressed, you know? And so I understand trying to go from a slower pace to putting your business brain into a software. And I don't know. I'm always that person where I look at people's body language on a Zoom call and I refuse to let people get off until I see the shoulders drop, the smiles return, laughter restored, because it's not that serious. We have time. Okay. You can baby step it. Even if you're just going from emailing back and forth to now having a contact form that gets people dumped into a project, little steps at a time will add more and more time back to your calendar. So it's essential that you tell yourself, okay, maybe I can't tackle a whole build out right now. You know, maybe I can just take a small step toward automating some processes in my business. But ultimately, the goal is how can I utilize technology in a way to take some things off my plate, to free myself up. This is a joyful thing. It should be, you know, but I can tell you, first couple calls to Diana, your girl was stressed. I felt exposed. I felt vulnerable. I'm like, girl, I know I should have that done. Oh, give me grace. Give me grace. So like, even I want to be honest about this process because we have this expectation that we as small business owners have to be gold medal winners of all aspects of business. And we are not. We are human beings. Some of us had no aspirations of being entrepreneurs as kids. And now we look around going, crap, we're the grown-ups at. I guess I am the grown-up. We're just trying. We're doing our best. We're doing our best, you know? And so I want to give you that freedom to stumble, but still move, okay? We cannot just stay stagnant in hopes that our businesses will grow in the midst of us not taking action. Like just baby step it, but you got to make progress. You can't be in the same place this year that you were last year if you really want to see your business to grow. And so that is why I'm trying to do my best to bring you guys, not just incredible friends of mine that are rocking out their businesses, but telling you about the tools we're using behind the scenes to make this stuff happen. You guys are seeing it from the customer perspective, but you don't always know what we have hooked up in the back end to make it happen. And I want to just remove the veil, let you in, and say, this is real life. Real life is your girl thought I had hung up my coaching hat, was never going to pick it up again. And then people started saying, like, LaShonda, I really love the way you do YouTube. I want you to show me how to do that within my zone of genius. And so I had to create a system for something I didn't think I would offer. And now it's so beautiful watching other people win and watching them go forth and create. And so it's so worth it. Systems are so freaking worth it. And so I would just encourage you, like, if you have never leveraged tech, if you're still rocking the pen and paper, like, I love that for you, but that's not sustainable. At some point, that notebook's going to get wet. You're going to leave it at Starbucks, like your notes are going to get messed up. And you're going to need to have that stuff inside of a tech tool so that other people can help you as your business grows. So we are going to take some time for audience questions. So if you have not dropped your questions in the comments, I want you to go ahead and do that now so that we can pop them up on screen. I have one more question for Diana, so I get to hop the line. But if you guys have any questions, you guys can ask as well. So my last question for you, Diana, is what is the most common misconception that people have about using a system like HoneyBook? I want real talk, be nice, but be real. What is a common misconception that people have?
I think a lot of people think that once they get on a software like HoneyBook, there's quite a few things. One is that you lose control because you're used to your way and this is how you've done it for, maybe X amount of years, and this is how it's always been done. Change is just really, really hard. And I get that. And allowing someone else, software or person, to come in and speak into something that has been working just fine for a really long time is really hard. It is a scary thing. Just like LaShonda was saying before, it's really scary to have someone else see what you've been doing this whole time. And so I think that a lot of the misconceptions is we tend to look at the software and say, oh, I don't need something like this. I've been doing this and I'm really successful for 6 years, 10 years. I mean, truly, I had a clarity call with someone last week. She has a multi-million-dollar business. She's taking notes on a piece of paper. And now she's trying to hire help and they can't. She takes pictures of the notes and like texts it to them so that they can see like things that she's thinking of. I want you, all of you, to really have a great foundation so that when you scale, when you're ready for this, it's not such a daunting process, but rather you're ready. There's a few tweaks here and there, but you're ready to go and you're not going to lose control. It's still your business. It's still exactly the way that you want. That's what I love about HoneyBook. It's so customizable. Everything I send is highly branded to my business. So I think that that's a huge fear that everyone has using HoneyBook, is that you're going to lose control, but you're not. I promise you, you're not. You're very much in control of your system and your automations, and you can customize it and you can stop everything as much as you want to.
So I did ask Diana before we went live, I was like, do you happen to have a special offer for the people? Because I know that you guys could create that free trial. Let me give y'all that link again. People, get your life. You're definitely welcome to click that link, get your trial. But I know good and well you're going to have some questions. So I believe that Diana has a little something for you guys before we hop into the audience questions.
Totally. I know that every single person is going to have unique scenarios that they want to talk through. So you can sign up for a free 20-minute call with me. Just go to my contact page on the website. LaShonda has kindly put the link right here and fill out that form, and it will allow you to book a 20-minute call with me. It's free.
Fantastic. We love that for the people. So I do have a question for Dion that I'm going to talk through. And then I think we're going to land the plane. So I am so grateful that you guys have been watching here live. I will tell you that YouTube is a fantastic way for you guys to share this information after the broadcast is over. So make sure that if you want to share this information with your community, your audience, y'all copy that little YouTube link and you send it. You send that in a DM, you send it in an email. LinkedIn is wonderful. LinkedIn folks, we love you. But I definitely prefer the YouTube upload. Okay. The other thing I do want to say before I forget, I do have something special to share about my coaching clients. I'm going to pop Diana out and show you guys this so that you guys know about it. So what we're going to do here is I am going to share about some fantastic ladies who have done the daggone thing. All right. So we have been talking about YouTube coaching the entire time. And I have had the privilege of coaching some of the most incredible women that I have ever met in my whole life through the process of revising or starting a YouTube channel. So tomorrow, if you guys come back at 1 p.m., we are going to have a party. We are literally going to celebrate all of these incredible women and talk about what they will be sharing on YouTube moving forward. So this was my very first group coaching cohort, and they helped me develop the model that you guys are going to see implemented through HoneyBook moving forward. I absolutely adore them, and I want you guys to celebrate with me. And I had the privilege of working with some folks one-on-one as well. So you are going to hear about 8 incredible YouTube channels packed with information that is going to help you guys to grow both personally and professionally. So if you are watching this live on YouTube and you have not subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell, I want you to do that because I'm very cognizant about not sending y'all 10,000 emails. So the best way for you to get notified when I go live is for you to turn that bell on. So I wanted to make sure they got their shout out. And we do have a comment here from Dion. Thank you both for this incredible info. LaShonda, would you mind sharing tools you were able to remove from your tech stack as you streamline your systems with HoneyBook? So I think that is a fantastic question. And here's the real talk, okay? When you are moving to an all-in-one system like HoneyBook, there are steps in your process that HoneyBook can execute. Now, that does not mean you completely delete subscriptions to other tools that you're using in your business. You have to think specifically about the offer that you are trying to execute. And so I will tell you, HoneyBook can handle your invoicing. It can handle your forms. It can handle emailing your customers, but you will still probably want an email marketing software, right? And so what you really need to do is you really need to specify in your business to provide a package to your customer. What are the steps that you need to walk through to execute that package, and double check with HoneyBook to see if it can handle the things that you need. And so many cases, HoneyBook can handle it. So say for instance, if you do a group coaching call virtually, you probably will still need some type of video conferencing tool, right? But when it comes to the administration of your business, that is the biggest benefit, I would say, to leveraging HoneyBook. So I'll bring Diana up as well, but we worked with forms, we worked with invoicing, it can do contracts, it can handle projects to help you to see all your communications with that client. Am I forgetting anything that we leveraged?
We did scheduling. Yeah, we got rid of your
Scheduling as well.
Calendly.
Yeah.
Because
And
we
so,
were also able, oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
We were also able to kind of combine her scheduling so that the coaching clients could get homework right before the next call based on when they scheduled. And so that way she didn't have to like manually send that out every time.
For sure. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing for you guys to really hone in on is the fact that you have to know, like Diana was saying, you have to know from day one, what is it that you want the software to do, right? You need to map out what does that workflow look like. And then you can go into HoneyBook and set up those systems. So in some cases, it can look like completely eliminating a tool that you used in the past. And in some cases, it may look like, okay, for this offer, I'm going to leverage this, but then I'll still have, email marketing software on the back end. So hopefully that helps. But really, when you think about using an all-in-one tool like HoneyBook, you have to think of, I'm trying to put as many of the pieces in one system as possible to eliminate that back and forth and to reduce the amount of time it takes to execute my offers. So I really hope that helps. Again, Diana is the HoneyBook Pro. And I say that again, your girl knows a lot, but I am not a HoneyBook Pro. Okay. So I want you guys to hit her up if you have specific questions about your business and your workflow and your systems. That is the benefit of having people who are super users of a platform. They are in it more than others and they can point that stuff out to you. So I am so grateful. Diana has pushed me out of the nest. She's given me some email support, but she's like, okay, girl, you good now. You good. You got to go. You got to go. And I love that. Like, she helped me. And now she's like, now you got to do the thing. So I love this. Caitlin said, we'll be hitting you up. That's so smart. Thanks for the explanation. That is Paula, one of my coaching clients. So super excited about that. Dion said, wonderful. Thank you. And Paula said, how about a workflow masterclass? Ooh, girl, not a bad idea. I will let you know if that ends up getting added to our calendar of things to talk about. So for all you LinkedIn folks, welcome to the journey. We do a lot of this practical education on Bootstrap Biz Advice. I just want to say again, thank you so much, Diana, for providing such incredible advice. And of course, thank you to HoneyBook for sponsoring this live stream. You guys, if you want to start using HoneyBook, go ahead and utilize that link. You guys can get 50% off your first year and you can get a free trial. And don't forget that I am accepting applications. Let me remind you guys of that link. You guys can go to lashondabrown.com/coaching to apply for my last round of YouTube coaching in 2023. Friends, I really do want you to come back and support the incredible women who have completed YouTube coaching with me for that first round. They have done an amazing job and we have so much to celebrate. So make sure if you're watching on YouTube that you subscribe to the channel, that you turn that notification bell on so you can come back and celebrate with them. And friends, as we love to say on the channel, until next time, ta-ta for now.